Good morning to all of you. Welcome to Legal Matters by Sai Babu Sunkara. Video number 1425. Dear friends, today we are going to discuss the concept, an old concept called as ex post facto laws. Ex post facto laws, which were envisaged in Article 20, Clause 1 of the Constitution of India. Why this has come into existence today? We have to go to Karnataka High Court. Single Judge Srinivas Harish Kumar of Karnataka High Court, while disposing the discharge petition, you can read the case as Yamuna versus the state. Yamuna versus the state in CR Criminal Revision Petition number 989 by 2012, disposed on 11/10/2022. I repeat, the CRLRP number 989 by 2012. This is disposed on 11/1/2022. You can see the citation in Live Law 2022 within brackets Karnataka 25 page number. Here the single judge held that even though the plaintiff or the complainant or the person produces a false SC or ST certificate, this person cannot be charged under section 3(1)(10) of SC/ST Act 1989. This is the judgment given by the judge. Here the important point is, definitely the complainant others, that is Yamuna and others, might have filed a case saying that they are Dalits or they belong to SC community. They produce the certificate, but they produce the certificate issued to them in the year 1977 and 1983. Basing on that, the case was registered. Ultimately, it was proved that they do not belong to that particular community. That's why in my previous videos also, I've been telling you, the SC of one state may not be the SC of other state. We discussed regarding that Punjab and Haryana case. Here, the main point is that they are not SCs. There are some typical issues even in Andhra Pradesh also. A person named Mohan, he is a Harijan by caste as per the allegations. But ultimately, it was proved that his name is some Mohan Sundaram somebody. He is a converted Christian. And once he becomes a converted Christian, he is a BCC. He is a backward community, not SC. So like that, changes will be there. Anyway, they were proved to be non-SCs. Even then, right? Anyway, the judge ordered action to be taken against them under section 3(1)(10) of SC/ST Act. But now the Honorable High Court of Karnataka clearly stated that it cannot come under section 3. It comes under only 420 of the IPC. And secondly, actually, when this matter has come, when the judge has ordered for trying them, for giving the false certificate, they approached the same court, and ultimately, since it rejected, they came to the High Court for discharge under section 227 CRPC. Discharge petition they have filed. In the trial court, it was not accepted, but now, when the matter has come to the High Court, yes, definitely it has agreed. Why? 2 points here. Please remember, they cannot be charged under section 3 of the SC/ST Act because the certificates, when they were issued 1977-1983, when did this act come into force? 1989. Previously, it was unlawful Protection of Civil Rights Act. We used to call it as Untouchability Act or Protection of Civil Rights Act 1955. Then it was restructured, or another act has come in the name of Scheduled or Scheduled Caste Prevention of Atrocities Act 1989. And the certificates were given before 1989. So these persons cannot be charged under section 3 of the SC/ST Act. That is the base point. This is what is called ex post facto laws. So now we'll read Article 20, synopsis of Article 20, Clause 1 of the Constitution of India. It says, no person shall be convicted for an offence except for violation of the law at the time of the occurrence. So, at the time, I will tell you, suppose at the time of occurrence, if theft is punishable with 3 years imprisonment, when the trial has been completed after 20 years and at that time when the punishment for theft is 5 years, even then also the judge can give maximum 3 years only, not 5 years. So, at the time of framing charges, so the court should have seen whether this fits in section 3 of the SC Act or no. The trial court has erred wrongly, and they have not, since they are not allowing the discharge petition is also not good in law. That is the opinion. That is very neatly the judge has stated. But anyway, it is very clearly stated that the act was not in existence at the particular point of time. No doubt. If they were charged under 420 APC, definitely it would have been accepted. But whatever it is, since the technical point or legal point has come, we are discussing. Now, in this session, you have to come to know that regarding ex post facto laws, Article 20 of the Constitution of India, and you cannot punish a person for an act which was not in force at the time of the occurrence. This is the main point you have to know. Right? Thank you very much.